Welcome to the Straight Talk on Fleet podcast with Erin Gilchrist. Each week, Erin will be breaking down fleet management, trying to cut through the noise and get down to the real issues safety and operations leaders are struggling with every day. The goal will be to get to the bottom of how leaders can break down these silos of information, accelerate change management, how to use real-time, accurate data to drive massive efficiencies across fleet-focused business processes, and to elevate people's careers with emerging best practices. Now it's time for the Straight Talk on Fleet.
Hello again, Fleet community. We're back for another episode of the Straight Talk on Fleet. I'm your host, Erin Gilchrist, and I am the VP of Fleet Evangelism at IntelliShift. Fleet management's hard, probably harder than it needs to be, so we break it down here, fleet manager style, to bring you content and conversations that will help you elevate your career and push the boundaries of what's possible for you and your fleet. So today, we're going to dig into AI video dash cams. So I love this topic because I think that AI video dash cams are a must-have for your tech stack. This is a tough and controversial topic and technology. So how are these conversations about AI VDCs going on in your organization? So I'm guessing you're discussing things like driver and workforce shortages, right? We don't want to turn off potential new hires because we have cameras in our vehicles. There can be false positives and reporting errors. The cost to do something like this, liability, privacy, right? There have been well-known organizations out there also who have treated the information from these devices in a way that wasn't healthy for the drivers and the organizations, and frankly, have given this tech sort of a bad name. So those are probably the conversations you're having, all valid, all makes sense on the surface. But in today's world, I truly believe, like I did of telematics, 10 plus years ago, that it's not about if, but when on AI video dash cams. So, if you can just think back for a second, we never thought we would be able to implement telematics for nearly all of the same reasons that we're talking about dash cams, right? So here we are, it's 2022, we're 3/4 of the way through the year. And I think there's probably a few fleets out there without some sort of tracking system on their assets. And not just their assets, but their equipment, vehicles, job sites, on-site fueling pumps, et cetera. So it's almost unthinkable, right, that we would manage a fleet of assets today without some sort of driver tech, vehicle tech, driver safety, vehicle tracking system on board, right? So let's dig in here a little bit. So we covered some of those detractors, right? Those conversations we're having when it comes to dash cams. However, I would challenge that if we can show our organizations a solid case for cameras and our drivers what's in it for them to have this type of device in the vehicle, then that list of detractors becomes a solid case of supporting evidence, I think, for adding cameras to your existing tech stack. So on that note, here are some strong reasons, from my opinion, to pilot this technology. Okay, the first one is AI video dash cams save lives and reduce costs, period. So podcast over. Just kidding. I don't want to bore you with numbers, but I'm going to, right? Numbers are the stuff that get the attention of the C-suites in our organizations, despite our current incident and accident rates, because it's that next big accident that leaves our organizations reeling. And then all of a sudden you have loads of unwanted attention. You have to be on the defensive. Then we're in reactivity world. This isn't a fun position to be in. Okay. All right. The average cost, let's dig in. The average cost of accidents are a compelling reason and can help you tell your why story, because organizations want to talk about cost. So talk about it, right? Show them, hey, I'm not a cost center. I'm a revenue generator. Tell them what you know about this tech. So here are some of those numbers. Average cost of property damage only claim, over 15 grand. For straight trucks, over $56,000 per incident. Non-fatal injury accidents, just over $195,000. Fatal crashes are running an average of $3.6 million per accident. Yikes. 51% of accidents are caused by distracted driving versus the 4.5%, a little less, by aggressive driving. And we'll talk a little bit about telematics and AI video in a second, but aggression versus distraction, big difference. Distraction is the main story. AI video dash cams do this. They will allow for a 71% reduction in rear-end collisions, a 63% reduction in unsafe following distance events, a 60% reduction in speeding violations. So this tech pays for itself. Real-time risk reduction, lower insurance premiums, protection against false claims. That's that why for your drivers. We'll get to that. It's safety that adapts to your business, right? So, in a nutshell, there's your ROI story. All of those statistics are real. They're realized, right? And that's before we get into the other benefits that you can gain in your overall fleet program from camera technology. So here's a short list of other areas impacted by incidents and accidents in your fleet: property and damages, health costs, business expenses, ongoing loss of revenue, workforce costs, equipment expenses, legal proceedings, so costly, damage to your reputation. If you're self-insured, the kind of cash on hand that you have to hold for that deductible for when that, not if, but when these accidents happen. So, I think it's our duty, our job to make sure that we are stacking up the right tools and tech so we can prevent these things. It's a safety effort that ends up being a major cost reduction effort as well. And that's what our businesses want to talk about. So again, talk about it with them. Lots of great information. So we talked about aggression and distraction. So that's really telematics versus AI video. So first of all, I think you need both technologies, in my opinion. They talk to each other. They do great things. Telematics gives you an aggressive driving score on behaviors like harsh braking, harsh turning, rapid acceleration, and speeding, right? Where AI video captures inattention, inattentive driving, driver distraction, cell phone or other device use, when drivers are fatigued, which is really important, forward collision warnings, following distance warnings. So for me, it's a compelling reason to pilot AI video cameras in your fleet. And I've said so many times, it will help you control the uncontrollables. It may not be your driver that you need to worry about as much as the many other motorists out there posing risks to your fleet by their own distracted driving choices. So play this game in your car with your kids or partner or whomever, right? So let's call it space cadets. These are people, that's not a very nice term, but it sounds rude. And it shows my age, but it's a description of people who are not paying attention when they should be, right? Really important. So count the number of cars where drivers are doing something other than just driving. The statistics are staggering. No one wins at this game, by the way. It's just a way to start socializing the dangers of distracted driving with your kids or soon-to-be drivers in your family. This is what you'll observe in this game. Drivers who are reading a book or a magazine or a newspaper, it's propped up on their steering column. Unreal, but true. I've seen it. We've all seen it. Watching a movie or a video while driving, interacting with some sort of device, likely their phone, doing their makeup, curling their hair. Yes, curling their hair in their car, shaving, messing with climate controls or stereo systems or whatever, reaching down for items off the floor or the seat. Turning around in their seat to deal with their children. Okay, I have 5 children. I can relate. However, that seemed like an oxymoron to me, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, so that said, we cannot control what others do, but we can build an environment of safety around our drivers to help them with the dangers that they can't identify on their own. Hopefully they're paying attention to driving, and that may cause them to have an accident. And there are certainly plenty of near misses that can also be measured and part of our wins for our onboard safety tech stacks that we're trying to implement in our fleets. So On that, in episode 4, I did the second part of a sustainability series that I did. I did sustainability in 3 parts. And in podcast 3, I talked about fleet sustainability planning. And then in episode 4, I talked about sustainability parts 2 and 3. In that part of the plan, it's sustainability for you as a fleet leader and sustainability for your team and your workforce of drivers and operators. And in this episode, I talk about how to build an environment of safety around your drivers so they can focus on their vocational work. I talk about this environment of safety around your drivers. They can focus on their vocational work that they love and that they get paid to do. And how you can make it so easy for them to be a professional driver, the professional driver you need them to be, because you've given them the right fleet operating practices, the policies, the tools, the technologies to do all of the fleet things that you need them to do. Again, cameras, no exception to this. And you've made it easy for them to be compliant. Okay, so we've talked about the maybe why not, and then we've talked about the really why you must for AI video dash cams. So now what? How do you get started? Okay, like we do with everything. Okay, start with data and information that's already out there in the universe. We talked about some of it already, some of those statistics that are true of this type of technology. So the stats I share with you today, how other fleets have successfully implemented, right? Again, build your team and your project plan. I could spend the next 30 plus minutes talking about this. However, if you'd like to watch episode 5 on project and change management, I give a complete outline on implementing change in your organization using tech as an example. But I'll recap a couple things for you quickly as you think about how do I get started with AI video dash cams. Okay, identify the problem that needs to be solved. Likely that's accident rate increases or increases in accident severity despite your current efforts. Know you're not alone. Bring together those key players and decision makers that are going to help you drive your initiatives. Develop your initial communication. Conduct a pilot. Communicate early and often in your pilot on results. Prepare for that next level meeting by using that sound method you've already created. Seal the deal and get moving on being the hero in your organization. So again, refer to episode 5, giving you some framework around how to build a project and how to initiate change in your organization. So more on developing your pilot, because that's a critical part of implementing tech into your organization. So think about markets or regions within your fleet where your fleets operate with the greatest potential for improvement. Those will be quick and big wins for you, right? That makes a lot of sense. Vet your choices and your reasoning with that market and region leadership, or whatever you call it, district, store. Develop the communications to keep all stakeholders informed and on board. Create pilot team roles and responsibilities. Identify success metrics, so how they'll be measured and in what time frame. Think about your core team we've talked about and how once they're on board with what you're proposing, they can help you with the rollout, the project, the future projects that you're trying to do, right? Communicate early and often, again, on those pilot results as you're going through. Then that gives your organization a taste of what it's like to do business with you, to work with you and your new core team when it's time to roll this technology out once your pilot is successful. The most important thing you'll develop and communicate is your what's in it for me program for your drivers. So incredibly critical. Again, so think about your drivers, think about driver fitness, this notion of building this bubble of safety around your drivers as a messaging strategy. So you're talking to a driver. Hey, we're giving you the safest vehicles. They are upfitted for fit and function, as well as comfort and efficiency. We have the vehicles upfitted with telematics and AI video dash cams to keep you safe from distractions and unsafe drivers on the roadway. We have scorecards that encourage you to continue positive behaviors, right? So the big nut crack is convincing drivers that the safe work environment is not just a way to do safety, but the way we work. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Not just a way to do safety, but the way we work. We don't want to suggest, said this before, that there's any other way, and that you and the organization are laser focused on this one way of working, which creates a suite of processes, programs, policies, tools, technologies designed for your safety driver and for your sustainability driver in the workplace that allows for the driver to be there long term for the things that matter most to them, right? Their family. And, they have things outside of work that are way more important to them. So let them know that all you care about is getting them home safely every day, maybe in better shape than they started the day in, avoiding false claims of liability, which is what cameras help you do, working for a company that will never rest until everyone is safe. So this is critical for attracting new employees, retaining the employees that you have now and forever. They have to know that you care. So invest so that, this whole idea of what's in it for you, driver, is a really important part of any tech rollout plan. Okay, so on rollout, let's talk about rollout. So you've convinced your organization, you have conducted a pilot, you've identified this strategic partner that you chose. They should have been helping you all along, do all the things I've already talked about, especially the communication piece and the ROI piece and all those things. You have to be working just completely in tandem with you. But your partner should have a specific outline designed for your unique organization to most successfully roll out a full communication plan, a hardware deployment and installation plan and schedule that's designed for your business, a full analytics and reporting suite that should include insights and data visualizations in the form of powerful dashboards and scorecards set up to address the most critical events now, to flag new incidents with a coaching status and on-demand video clips. So a fully integrated solution, meaning your entire fleet ecosystem working together to provide the data and analytics that will make your fleet the safest and the most efficient fleet in the industry. Yes, in the whole industry. That's you. You can do this. I want to do this. Fully integrated driver scorecard. It should include distraction, aggression, compliance, right? All of those elements. And in compliance, DOT, maintenance, fuel, inspections, right? Etc. Again, a fully baked coaching and training plan that accompany that scorecard. So, because it's not enough to show the drivers how they're doing. You have to have that top-down approach to addressing the critical events that prevent accidents. So building the coaching strategy with your internal team, HR, safety, risk, ops, legal, finance, okay? Customized for your business along with your partner. So these are must-haves for success today and going forward with AI video dash cams and any other tech or processor program you're considering for your fleet. So that is the why and the how. So just a few notes to drive this home and dispel all the haters out there on AI video dash cams. This is a must-have technology for the culture of safety you are building. Remember, not a way of working, but the way we work. Okay, that's culture. That's culture speak. That's thought leadership. It's not opinion leadership. It's thought leadership, people. It's culture speak. Not a way of working, but the way we work. Okay, must have. You can retain drivers by rewarding safety. Show them what's in it for them. Businesses with driver-positive safety programs have higher employee morale than compliance-focused safety programs. It's just proven. Innovative solutions that can provide complete data transparency for drivers, promote a culture of safety, deepen organizational trust, and result in higher job satisfaction, period. You will reduce costs with advanced driver safety scorecards. You will see a speedy ROI through direct cost savings from reduced vehicle wear and tear and traffic violation avoidance, whether it's excessive speeding, harsh braking, idling, distracted driving. Configurable weighted scorecards empower you to home in on behaviors that are a priority for your fleet and your bottom line. And finally, automate and scale for your fleet, no matter the size. Most organizations do not have the manpower to coach every safety event. Again, that's telling drivers, we're not looking at everything you're doing. We don't have the manpower or the time. We're looking at what matters, right? Again, we don't have the manpower to coach every event. That's where automation and AI step in to help you get more done with less staff via mobile leaderboards, gamification, data transparency, drivers knowing where they stand in real time, and supervisors and safety leaders won't get bogged down with every detail. Okay, so that's a lot. Here to talk with you about this, here to discuss it more. But that's where I stand on AI video dash cams and driver safety. As always, comment below with questions or suggestions. Join the conversation. Share, like, subscribe wherever you do your content absorption. But until next time, keep it real, keep it safe for fleet's sake. And thanks for being here.